Meeting, please come to order. Please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and our opening prayer. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Direct, O Lord, all our actions and carry them on by thy gracious assistance, so that every prayer and good work of ours may begin from thee and by thee be happily ended. Through Christ our Lord. Amen. Thank you. May we have roll call, please?
Okay. Patricia McKim.
Here.
Joseph Onsas.
Here.
Michael Calderon.
Here.
Stephen Klingon. Is he here? James Forbes. Robert Nider.
Here.
Stephen Pasco.
Here.
Anthony Weaver.
Here.
Robert Campbell.
Here.
Michael Woods.
Here.
Scott Cook.
Here.
Luann Boring here.
Luann, you had
Yeah, I do want to note that we did advertise this meeting in the Gettysburg Times, and we posted the Borough office as well as the KFC over here. We posted that yesterday.
okay, thank you.
And we do have proof of publication.
You all should have copies of the minutes of a regular meeting held on July 11th. If you have no questions, I would like to have a motion to accept them.
So moved.
So moved. I have a motion. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Financial review and budget analysis, please, Luann.
Everyone has a copy of my monthly reports.
Anybody have any questions of Luann? All right, then we'll go on to communications.
The only communication I have for this evening is from the Adams County SPCA, and it's their annual letter asking for contributions in their 2019 budget. I do want to let you know that we have $750 budgeted for 2018. Those funds will be released next month.
All right, thank you. Okay, this would be the part where we would have public participation. However, we will not be discussing the K-9 program at this time because it is under old business on our agenda today. So if anyone else has anything else they want to discuss or any questions or concerns other than the K-9 program, I will ask you to raise your hands now. All right, and when you stand, we need your name and your address, please. Yes.
My name is Kelly Grimm, and I'm at 930 Gapview Road.
What road?
Gapview Road.
And where is that?
That is Nazareth, Pennsylvania. So
Nazareth.
I have a state, two state issues just to bring forward, so that you're aware of them.
Okay.
Having to do with the Right to Know and Sunshine Act. So I'm not sure how new anyone is on this council or whatnot, but in delving into some of your issues, I'm concerned about your June council meeting where you went into a closed session. I've spoken consistently with the state representative about this, and I will look further, and I suggest you do the same. But it is not prudent or permitted for you to just state that it's a personnel matter. If you look closely, the General Assembly was very clear. The reasons must be specific, indicating the real discrete matters. And if you are speaking of a personnel member of either public or private elected or employee, you must give them the right to have that matter discussed in public if they choose. The other one that concerns me has to do with something recently. I obtained some information regarding if you were to go to section 708 of the Right to Know Act, it specifies what exceptions are for public records. If you were to go then to number 6C, it clearly states an exception, so a redaction or deletion of information that should never be provided to the public. The home address of a law enforcement officer or judge. So I have come to see my own eyes that perhaps a inexperienced or not informed elected official has provided a law enforcement officer's private home address in material that they've released to the public. I will inform that law enforcement officer, but it's very important that how seriously we take that. So these are state matters regarding right to know and some other information that I've been looking through and will continue to look through from my experience in your position. It's very important that these right to know records are handled right and that your executive sessions are done appropriately.
Okay, thank you for your input. Anyone else have anything at this time? All right. Then we will go into reports. Oh, no, yes. Mayor, Mr. Weaver?
Yeah, I'd like the meeting, next meeting with the fire company, September 12th, 9 o'clock in the morning over at the Borough office.
Okay.
Also on July 27th, I received a letter in form of an email from Adams County Victim Witness Assistance Program. And I'd like to read that into the record right now. This was sent to Mayor Anthony Weaver, Borough Office, 338 Main Street, McSherrystown, PA. Dear Mayor Weaver, I wanted to recognize the significant actions of Chief Michael Woods in a criminal domestic violence assault case. The victim was present for court and was so grateful for the service provided to her by your Chief of Police, Michael Woods. She stated to me that she does not think she would have made it through this incident had it not been for the support and services of Chief Woods. As you well know, domestic violence cases are very complex and many times frustrating for police officers. Chief Woods handled the case in such a kind, patient, and understanding and caring manner that it was really life-changing for the victim and her family. I wanted to acknowledge his service to this victims, as it is not the first time I've heard victims respect and honor their interactions with Chief Woods. I too have nothing but positive experience collaborating with Chief Woods and his police department. As a director of Victim Witness Program, I wish for all police departments and all officers to be as victim sensitive and as understanding of victims' issues as the McSherrystown Borough Police Department and Chief Mike Woods. Sincerely, Cindy Keeney, Director of Adams County Victim Witness Assistance. Copy of this was given to Luann to put in Chief Woods' personnel file, and I'm going to make copies available to all the other police officers on the force to put in their file also. And I would also like to thank Chief Woods for doing this, and also like to thank that man sitting out there, Mike Val, who used to be Chief of Police here in McSherrystown, for I worked under him, and this goes back to when we were on the force also. And Ms. Keeney, wrote this letter. Like I said, I did not solicit this letter. It came to me on the 27th. I have copies for all the council if they would like a copy.
All right.
Other than that, that's all I have.
That's all you have? Thank you. Thank you, Mike. And now we're up to the police chief, Mr. Woods.
It's got a brief statement, and then I got some things that I want to add. First thing I want to like to say is I was prepared to address the K-9 issue at hand. However, I've decided not to give any credit to the misleading and fabricated data contained in the cost-benefit analysis that was prepared by the council and presented by Mr. Pasco in the last meeting. I do, however, encourage any councilman or resident to contact me to obtain factual data pertaining to the K-9 program. With that said, I'd like to provide some numbers. I want to get into record. These are dollar amounts that needs to be addressed and issued. I'm just going to name out the dollar amount and what it was for. $42,245 cash donations for the K-9 program. $2,025.10 the cost of stop sticks donated. $3,274 cost of speed sign donated. $5,129.88 cost of 2 computer systems with installation donated. $149.99 cost of a printer donated. $237.92. Cost of security monitor in amount donated, $1,156.72. Cost of 2 desks and a patrol room donated, $560.68. Cost of desk and chief's office donated, $200. Cost of delivery and installation of such desk, $1,134.75. Cost of patrol rifle donated, $600. Cost of 3 digital cameras for investigations donated, $1,636. Cost of 4 .40 caliber Glock handguns donated, $166.40. Cost of 2 lockout kits with bag donated, $150. Cost of training donated, $1,000. Cash donated for docking station, $1,000. Cost of bulletproof vest donated, $189. Cost of a tent meter donated, $7,180. Cost for grant training, $1,500 cash donated for software licensing, $605.10. Cost of a laptop donated, $778.95. Cost of dog food donated, $5,418.54. Cost of vet services donated, $19,104.83. Cost of in-car camera system. My last number here is 0. This is the number of thank yous I received from this council for working to save the taxpayers' money. And to end my report, or add to my report, I have a guest speaker for tonight. I'd like this time to invite Ashley Sense to come speak.
Is this with regards to the K-9 program?
No. It somewhat is. It's a story she'd like to share.
Because we would like to keep all of that till we get to old
Well, it's part of my
business.
report.
I didn't know we had all this stuff. Why didn't you tell us about this, Mike?
You know all this.
Don't shit. You never gave this to us.
Go ahead.
Start there.
Yeah, this is.
Hello, my name is Ashley Sense. I'm an addict, I'm a statistic, I'm a junkie, and I'm a convicted felon. I'm also a mother, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a legal guardian, and a soon-to-be wife. September 16th, 2018, I'll celebrate 3 years clean, but my journey to sobriety didn't start there. March 13th, 2015, Adams County Adult Probation came to my house to arrest me for a positive urine I gave them 2 weeks prior. 5 probation officers came through my door, 1 put me in cuffs, while 4 began an initial search of my house. After the search, Detective Hartlob was dispatched to my home and upon arrival called in Chief Woods and Ozzie to do a complete search after I refused to tell him where my drugs were. 10 minutes later, Chief Woods walked in my house with 5-year-old Ozzie, who honestly still looked like a big ball of fur and ears. Chief Woods took Ozzie up to my room, and about 15-20 minutes later, all my drugs and paraphernalia were laid out on my dining room table. And while I knew I was headed for jail, I also knew that Chief Woods and Ozzie single-handedly saved my children from myself and saved myself from myself. I landed in Adams County Prison for 4 months, rehab for 45 days, then to a recovery house where I relapsed, went back to jail, and headed upstate to Muncie State Prison. That whole experience jump-started my sobriety and led me to where I stand tonight, right here with all of you, fighting for Chief Woods, an amazing K-9 handler, and Ozzie, an incredibly smart dog who still hasn't grown into his ears. The heroin epidemic is an ever-growing and never-ending problem, statistically killing more people than any other accidental death nationwide. Since January 1st, 2018, I've personally watched as 12 of my friends lost their battle with addiction. In 2016 alone, 63,632 Americans lost their lives to drugs, and that number is set to increase by no less than 40% by this year's end. Whether you believe addiction is a choice or a disease, one thing is perfectly clear. There is an enormous drug problem right here in our own backyard. Chief Woods and Ozzie are paramount in combating this epidemic that is tearing families apart. My children are now 15 and 8, and this is a problem I pray gets resolved before their generation takes over our country. Ozzie's abilities and skills, along with Chief Woods' near-perfect handling and commands that day at my house, although put me in jail, also sent me to rehab, which in turn saved my life. Each year, police dogs nationwide sniff out thousands of pounds of drugs, which are taken off the street, saving countless more lives. I never realized how bad the drug problem was in this area until I became an addict myself. There were no methadone clinics or Suboxone clinics around here, but there's one of each now. Remember when you could leave your doors unlocked when you left the house and not have to worry about anything being gone when you returned? Or how about letting your kids outside to play by themselves during the day knowing they were safe? I know with having Ozzie and Chief Woods stationed just down the block, I feel safe enough to let my kids be outside and be kids. Getting rid of the canine program isn't going to help our small town. Dealers will continue to inundate the streets, and you could be the next one in line at the clinic, because addiction does not discriminate. So before you end this wonderful program, ask yourself, how much are your children's and your loved ones' lives worth to you? Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much, and I wish you well as you go forward.
Just a follow-up sentence there, after hearing her story, Ashley's story, how can anyone not feel all that all humanity has benefited from and can continue from the benefit of Ozzie and the canine program? That's all I have.
All right, thank you, Chief. Manager, Mr. Cook?
Your council should have a monthly report for the month of July, as well as an itemized purchases report for July. Two other things, just need a motion to attend the International Residential Code 2015 update. They'll give me 6 continuing education credits. The fee is $125, and the class is located in New Cumberland, Pennsylvania.
Okay. Do we have anyone that would make a motion?
I'll make a motion that we allow that.
Okay,
I'll
we
second it.
have a motion and we have a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
The next is a motion to purchase the new building code books for the 2015 International Residential Code for the 1 and 2 family dwellings and the 2015 International Building Code. The residential book is $115 and the International Building Code is $118.
All right, do I have a motion to make those purchases?
I'll make the motion.
You have a motion? Do I have a second?
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Just to let council know and the public, the new building code was adopted and it will go in effect October 1st. It's just some updates. The last code we had was 2009. So now Labor and Industry has approved it, and it'll be from the 2015 code. One other thing was from our last meeting, we had a resident request a handicap parking space in front of his home.
Right.
His address was 22 Westview Drive. I did look into it further, and Councilman Forbes looked at it as well. The gentleman does have a 1-car garage and 2 off-street parkings in his driveway. I know his complaint was about the neighbors. The neighbor had 3 cars, but they were in their driveway each time I observed the area. And his request is for a visitor, his brother in particular, who comes to visit. It's going to be up to council whether they want to approve it or deny it. But at this time, it seems like there's adequate parking, off-street parking at the property.
Any comments? Anybody?
I'll make a motion to deny it.
You make a motion that we be denied
Yes.
this time?
I'll second that motion.
You have a
That
second?
motion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
That's all.
All right. Safety Committee, Mr. Pasco?
Nothing to report at this time.
All right. Solid Waste, Mr. Calderon?
Nothing to report this evening.
All right. Highway, Mr. Calderon?
Nothing to report this evening.
Finance, Mr. Forbes?
No report.
Recreation, Mr. Nider?
I'll have a report next month.
All right. Sewer Committee, Mr. Klingon is not here. Planning and Zoning, Mr. Forbes?
No report.
Building and Grounds, Mr. Von Sass?
No report.
Civil Service, Mr. Nider?
No report.
Zoning Officer, Mr. Cook?
And just one thing, to let council know, I did receive a drawing from a new owner who purchased the Lynn Court Apartments. In the title search and all that, they did find that part of their parking to the east of the property, which is right next to the Borough's quarry, somewhere along the line there was about 8 to 10 parking spots put on the Borough property. Then on the north side of the far building, the Borough's fence encroaches on their property. What he's looking for is just to clean it up and possibly have some amendments to the deeds, and at the same time grant an easement to the Borough for a right-of-way for access to that property. So I'll ask Mr. Councilman Forbes as well as Councilman Von Sauce to take a look at it with me.
Okay.
And then they can give you a report at next meeting.
All right, thank you. Is that it?
That's all.
All right. Solicitor, Mr. Campbell?
No report.
No report. All right. That brings us to old business. And that would be where we will discuss the K-9. And I have a statement to make. I hope we will all be courteous and respectful to each other during this session. First of all, I want to state that and clarify any rumors and misconceptions regarding our K-9 program. It has been said through social media that council planned to retire our K-9 officer, Ozzie, at the last meeting. Other rumors surfaced that Ozzie is sick and would need to be retired or put to sleep. These rumors are far from the truth. I can assure you that Ozzie is healthy and is not going to be put to sleep. We decided to look into the cost of the K-9 program because council had no clear vision of the costs, something that had not been done since we purchased Ozzie over 5 years ago. We also were not fully aware of the type of calls and places where Ozzie's abilities were put to use, or the community outreach visits he performed. We just wanted some clarification. We want to make it clear that Ozzie is in good health and we have no plans to retire him at any time soon. We will not be making a motion regarding any change to Ozzie's service. Just for the record, and this is a suggestion by our legal counsel, I would like to see a show of hands of who is in favor of retaining Ozzie. Okay, thank you. Is there anyone here that is in favor of retiring Ozzie? Okay, all right, thank you. All right, that's all we really wanted to know for now. As everyone knows, I had appointed Steve Pasco to coordinate information on our behalf, and if I would appreciate if you give him the courtesy of listening to his final report.
Hey, Pat, before you start, can you clarify, you didn't purchase Ozzie. He was donated. He was free.
It was
No,
$1. It was $1.
Okay.
It was still a purchase.
That's free.
It was still a purchase.
Yeah, I mean,
If
what
you
is it?
you
What
sell
is it?
land and you buy land for $1, it's considered a purchase. It's in the paper when you
Make
transfer
sure.
land.
That's all.
All right.
Nobody ever turns over.
I understand that, but I just want to make sure she wasn't.
All right. Please, watch your language, people.
Okay, I'd like to open up with just a recap, going over everything that we talked about at the last meeting for people who were not here at the last meeting. Council wanted to get a snapshot of the cost of the K-9 program from when Ozzie was purchased just over 5 years ago. Basically, we wanted to keep in mind that council wanted to know whether it was costing $2,000 or if it was costing $20,000. We really didn't have a firm grasp on that, and therefore I did a cost analysis study. In the beginning, Chief Woods promised that the K-9 program would not cost taxpayers $1. Everything would be paid for by donations. There were some obvious upfront costs that council approved in meetings, such as a trade-in for a 2007 Crown Victoria, and that was at a cost of $3,700. That was towards the new K-9 vehicle, 2014 Ford Explorer, that's used exclusively as a K-9 vehicle for Ozzie. There's also a cost of $825 to train Chief Woods as a K-9 handler, which was approved at one of our council meetings in 9/25/2013. A lot of the costs were not clearly visible to council because they were absorbed in different areas of the borough budget. And these were such areas as We had a 2011 Dodge Charger that we had donated a canine insert that was upfitted by our Public Works guys, taking their about 16 hours to install at their hourly wage was about $342. We had officer training. They were not officers. They were not. They were officers here on McSherrystown Police Force, but they were not Chief Woods, of course. Their training came out to an indirect labor charge of $23.77 per hour, and at 8 hours each, $380. Then we had a charge that was absorbed through our budget of training for Chief Woods at $70 or 70 hours, sorry, at $29 an hour, which came out to just over $2,000. We had one of the biggest expenses is the boarding care for Chief Woods to care for Ozzy. When it started out in the beginning, we weren't aware that we had to pay this until about a year after the program began. Chief Woods informed council that there was a Garcia Act, and that this was, I believe, 1 full year after the dog was purchased, and council owed Chief Woods a total of $5,000 in back pay for this Garcia Act. Chief Woods conceded to take only half of that, which was $2,500, but that is another cost that was absorbed in the program. So part of this number I'm going to give you is that $2,500. This is 2.5 hours per week for the past 5 years and roughly 4 months. It's over $18,000 that was paid to Chief Woods in the form of comp time. Also, we have SUV insurance, which is $4,545 roughly. Canine liability insurance, which is just over $1,100. That was, I think it was total actually. Yeah, total since the inception of accepting Ozzy. We have just the gas alone to pay for transportation of Ozzy to and from Chief Woods' house. It's just roughly $2,500. And of course, we have maintenance cost on the canine vehicle, roughly $756 for tire wear, brake wear, $360 oil changes, and PA safety inspections and so on. Now we have any costs that were incurred to transport Ozzy to and from a scene not inside the borough limits. So any call that went outside the borough, this is comp time that was given to Chief Woods to basically pay him for his time that he spends with the canine unit outside the borough. So that was an estimated cost of $5,200, and gas for that was an estimated cost of $225. This runs a total up over $43,000. That does not include any overtime. Overtime costs were not figured into this. But what I can say is that Chief Woods has had a considerable amount of overtime since the beginning of the program. From 2013, once the dog was purchased, his overtime went from, on 2013, his overtime was $5,600 and $5,612. It almost doubled to the amount of $10,187 in 2014, and it stayed very consistent, nearing $10,000 every year after that, except for 2015, where it was $8,300. I haven't done anything to check into that to see what part of that overtime cost was involved with the canine program. But what I can tell you, over the past 5 years, well, it would be from 2013 to last month, more than 5 years, it came up to over $50,000 in overtime. There were some other things that came up as far as looking at where the deployments were. looked at deployments by location and provided that to council. Of course, we had 23 deployments here in McSherrystown Borough. This was since Ozzie was in service until last month. Conewaga Township had 29, New Oxford 11, Abbottstown 1, 4 in Littlestown, Bonneville 2, Gettysburg 11, East Berlin 2, York Springs 3, Ortana 1, Arntsville 1, Latmore Township 1, Fairfield 2, Carroll Valley 1, Freedom Township 1, Emmitsburg, Maryland 1, and there's 2 that were not clear on the report I received from Chief Woods. I just do want to note that in 2018, there were only 6 deployments for Ozzie. So that was over a course of 7 months. Ozzie was only used 6 times. That was only 1 time within the borough of McSherrystown in the year 2018. Just want to this is just crunching numbers. It's not saying that I'm against Ozzie or I'm for him. It's just what the facts are. Now, other thing that came up was Ozzie's age. I did some research on that and found that typically canines are retired between the age of 7 and 9 years of age. Also, I found that there are considerable liability costs involved with having a canine, and there were a lot of things that I don't really want to say, but we weren't doing. And that's a considerable liability for the borough itself. Ozzie requires regular training every week. It has to be tracked and documented. To my knowledge, it wasn't being tracked or documented because we were not paying Chief Woods for any time in the form of comp time for the training. And there's also things that council should be doing as well. Now, I do want to confirm this with our insurance company, our liability insurance company, to see exactly what their requirements are, and I think that's something we'll do in the month to come. And that's all I have to say.
All right, thank you.
Just,
All right.
can I add one thing? Like I said in my report, I challenge anybody who wants to come and talk to me about this report. I'll prove that everything on that report is false and fabricated. Okay.
Can I speak to Mike's point?
Talking about your
Yes.
deployments.
Mike, would you like to
First of
address
all,
anything right now
it's
that
Chief.
you think? Chief Woods, would you like to address anything right now that's been
I
fabricated?
can't begin. I just said every single thing on there is correct.
Okay, so would you like to start with anything?
Okay, if you want. So when was Ozzie active? According to your report, 5/8/13. It's funny. I didn't pick Ozzie up till 5/15/2013.
Okay, I mean,
Okay.
okay. I mean, you
Explain
didn't
to me-
provide any data for 2013, I understand.
Explain.
What?
No. Explain to me
Let him
how
speak.
$3,700.50 is a cost when it was a trade-in for a vehicle.
The borough owned the vehicle. It was a cost.
It's a
in the
trade to
meeting
gain.
minutes.
I mean, I could go on and on. So we really don't have time for this. The whole thing
Well,
is
no, go
wrong.
ahead, no, go ahead.
yeah.
You
Okay,
keep going.
Your comp time. It's comp time. You're not paying me extra $18,000.
You're getting paid 2.5 hours a week. It's hours that you're not working.
you're not
It
paid-
is a pay.
That
It
is-
is a cost. It's an indirect labor.
Sure is.
Okay, I just
Yeah.
I can't do it. I can't.
Go ahead,
All right,
keep going. Chief Woods, please keep going.
No, not.
Not yet.
I can't deal with incompetence. I can't
All right.
believe you don't understand
Okay.
that.
All right.
Have you been provided that report?
Excuse me.
No.
Yep.
That's the other thing. Why in this last report, the mayor and myself have not received the report?
What report did you not
The
receive?
one you speak of. The one you just rambled off. Why is the chief of police and the mayor, who's the time, place, and manner of the police department, not given that report?
Have you asked for it?
Let me ask you this, did all the council members receive it?
Wait, last month,
Wait, you didn't hand it out in the meeting?
Isn't this what?
a lot of this was brought up last month.
Okay, did you guys get a copy of the report last meeting? Every council member, answer, please.
Did you? I have one.
I
Does
don't know
anybody else
that,
have one?
You get a
Check.
I don't know if it's on the minutes or not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we need to move on with this. We're going to get comments from the floor. However, as I mentioned last month, only members who are people who live in McSherrystown or own property in McSherrystown, who are paying taxes in McSherrystown, can speak. We're not putting a time limit, but I am going to try and keep it down so that we get everybody who wants to talk a chance to talk.
Can I say one more thing before they start? I'm sorry.
All right.
Just one question. Mr. Pasco, have you looked into how many mutual aids and assists that we provided to other agencies during the same period? Time period is as when we had Aussie?
mutual aid and time assist.
And assist. That we assist in other
Oh,
agencies.
without Ozzy. Okay.
Yeah.
That's correct, without Ozzy?
Yes, that's what mutual aid and assist are.
Yeah, I understand. We do that very frequently with Conewaga Township.
Have you looked into that, as I'm asking?
Why would I look into that? Has nothing to do with the canine program.
Well, you're trying to say all these times that Aussie's out of the area doing deployments, correct?
But you're talking about Ozzy, and you just said something about mutual aid. That has nothing to do with Ozzy. I'm not sure what
No,
your
it
question
does.
is.
You're saying that Borough was paying me to go outside the area for deployments.
Yeah,
Okay.
they did.
So is it true to say that during mutual aids and assists that you're paying other officers, or other officers go handle calls for other and assist?
I'm not sure what you're asking, but what I'm going to state is that if you have mutual aid, we have mutual aid with Conewaga Township. So
And other agencies as well.
Okay, I'm just going to give other
Well,
agencies. So you have mutual aid with other agencies. So if they need, for instance, when I understand a domestic dispute, you request backup from another agency. If they're free, they'll come and help you, and that's mutual aid agreement.
All
So
I'm asking
it's apples to apples. You're comparing apples to apples.
I'm just asking
Basically,
if you
have
looked
an
at that.
officer coming and helping you.
All I'm asking
So-
if you looked at that number. Same time frame we odds we
Okay,
get.
I already said I didn't look at that number, but I'm going to want to continue to explain what I'm trying to explain.
Okay.
So you're talking about mutual aid with 2 officers, not mutual aid with the dog, where McSherrystown Borough does not receive anything back in return from that. Has Fairfield or Emmitsburg, Maryland, or Arntsville or Gettysburg, any of those departments given us mutual aid? Have they come and helped us out from when you helped them out?
Has who?
All the ones I just read off.
Yes, they have.
They showed up in McSherrystown to help you out.
Absolutely.
Help us out.
Matter of fact, we had 30.
Fairfield,
We had
Emmitsburg.
30.
Emmitsburg came and helped us
Emmitsburg?
out.
We had about 25 state police troopers coming and helping out on
No, that's state
for
police.
6
That's
hours.
not. That's you didn't provide mutual aid for them. I'm talking about the people that you provide
we
mutual aid
provide,
for.
we
right
provide
here with
mutual
the
aid to
K9.
state police all the time.
We're not talking about state police. So
Okay.
Ortanis, York Springs, East Berlin, Gettysburg, Bonneville, Littlestown, New Oxford, all those people, all those places where you went with the K9,
So-
they provided mutual aid for us. They came and backed you up.
Some of them are state police territory.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is they provided mutual aid back. We're providing a one-sided
No,
mutual
but
aid
you're not-
with the K9.
You're not understanding.
Stop, please.
Can I explain what
Okay,
mutual aid
Please,
is?
explain that.
please.
Mutual aid is, it started in 1983 when I was in a situation where I needed backup and nobody would come because there was no people that had signed mutual aid agreements back then. Now, people come, and that night, Littlestown came, to answer your point. Littlestown sent 2 officers down to help me, along with the state police. The state police backs us up a lot. Littlestown comes down here more than once. We had a shooting in Littlestown when I was still a police officer, where we went up to help Littlestown because an officer was shot. No dog was involved. A dog, you have to understand, K9 is an officer. He's giving mutual aid. He's going there because he's needed to they don't call, like if it's a domestic, they're not gonna call, if Chief Woods is on day work, he's going whether he has off, because we have a police chief that answers calls. He don't sit in the office all day and write report. He's out there answering calls. So if somebody has a domestic during the day, Chief Woods is gonna go, Ozzy's gonna go along. They don't need Ozzy but he's gonna be there because Chief Woods has to back up whatever officer he's backing up. So he's out of the town, and once an officer goes out of town through mutual aid, there's gonna have to be a report made. If there's an arrest made out of town, that officer from McSherrystown who assisted has to go to court. So I don't know what you're getting. I understand Chief Woods' question if that's what he's getting at. I understand your question also that Ozzy had to go someplace, maybe they don't have a dog that comes back. But say somebody drowns, say we have trouble at the quarry, we gotta bring in divers from Penn Township. They're not gonna ask for remuneration when they get here. They're gonna come out and do their job. That's the way police officers are. Crime don't stop up here at the red light and down here at the Plum Creek. We got crime from all over. We got a little metropolis here, and we help, the police departments help each other out because we're all understaffed. And, so mutual aid is gonna be part of the job here. And mutual aid, if you look at, probably costs more than what this costs. From our officers going out and helping Caughnawaga, and I'm only saying Caughnawaga because that's our neighbor and we help them. But we go into Hanover, back in the '91 riots, myself and Chief Val, who's sitting right there. We're in there for a whole week.
Yeah.
Hanover didn't give us any money. It was mutual aid.
Yeah,
We're off
that
the
was
topic.
mixed.
We're off topic.
All right, I think we
Let's
need
get back
to
on
get back to the
topic.
comments. I appreciate everything.
That is the topic.
I know, but.
Yeah, but
think
I mean, we're
I
but
agree with you. It's
that one
time.
point you're dwelling on for 20 years now.
All right.
You
I
need the point.
want to start with comments from the public. First of all, I would like to offer the opportunity to anyone who was not here last month to speak first. So that if there's anyone that is here who did not have a chance last month to speak, and then you will be called on, remember to state your name and your address, and please try to keep it short so we're not here till 10 o'clock tonight. Lefty?
Raymond Moran, 350 Fairview Avenue, McSherrystown.
Thank you.
The more I'm listening, the more I'm confused. But my initial question or concern was to the K-9 handler, which would be Chief Woods.
Yes.
Chief, when you go out of town, whether it be Gettysburg or who pays your wages?
Obviously, the borough does if I'm on borough time.
Right.
Well, this is my point. The taxpayers in this town are paying for you to go to another municipality and get free service.
Yep.
Okay.
They're paying
But
your wages, they're paying your benefits for the time on. They're paying into your pension. And we got to take a look at the big picture.
we do, and that's what I was trying to get at. The same time frame, we went to 1,270 calls outside the borough as a police department. So you are paying those officers to go to the other towns. So why is it just the K-9 an issue? If you understand what I'm saying. The same time frame, there were 70 deployments the same time frame looking at for K-9 assist, right? There was 1,270 calls for all other assist.
Don't give me those numbers.
You have to.
No,
The K-9 assist only accounted for 5.5%. All non-K-9 assist is 94%.
There we go.
So you can't have it both ways. I mean, you're letting our officers go to other jurisdictions. Are you charging them? Are you getting money back from them? Because one thing I'm going to correct you on.
Could you be
one-
less aggressive to one of our citizens? Mr.
One time, I'll
You're
make sure he
being
can
very
hear.
aggressive. He's just asking a
Quiet,
question.
please.
I'm making sure he can hear.
Quiet, please.
let me back up.
Yeah.
Am I okay with asking what your hourly rate is?
It's a public record. Yeah, I don't know what it is off the top of my head.
Does anybody know?
$34.86 an hour. Overtime rate is $52.29 an hour.
They go together. What I would like to see when you leave town, until you come back into the borough, some kind of an account of how long you were gone,
I'd like to make a statement, Pat.
what the purpose was, what the emergency was.
Yeah.
I'm talking about
Just the K-9,
any,
Yeah.
or any officer,
no,
No, canine.
any officer.
any officer that goes.
Oh.
That goes out the borough
You better,
and gets
That's
paid by
tough.
the
better get a
borough
lot of,
to go
a
out
lot of
there.
people to help.
The taxpayers are paying that.
Yeah.
Well,
Well, I think what the chief is saying, that we get people coming back in too from other departments. Maybe what you need, or you would like to have, would be a report as to how many times we get assistance from other boroughs and other counties. That would be something that you could see what they're doing.
What I want is numbers of what our taxpayers are paying any officer to go out in the borough
Mhm.
and provide
put
service.
tell them we'll look into it.
All right,
Yep.
we'll
look into
discuss
it.
that and
Yep.
everything.
Right.
And,
I have a comment.
yeah, it's something that's been done for years, reciprocal work, back and forth. But we'll look into that for you and get back to you.
It may seem petty for one or two trips, but over the career, and if this K-9 thing keeps on,
Right.
and we still have calls, when it comes time to retire, we're gonna be paying part of that retirement.
Right.
Yep, that's true.
Okay.
And while we're at it, do they have paid insurance when they
Yeah.
retire?
Yes.
Okay.
Yep, okay.
We'll get back to you with regards to that.
Rob, you had something to say?
the only thing I was thinking of is, when they go out on these calls to Emmitsburg, Gettysburg, Fairfield, that should almost be a private enterprise in a sense. And that way they, like you're saying, keep it separate. And then that way the funds can be done through donations program. Is that something that people think about?
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
Advise all neighborhood
Oh, the people.
municipalities that they will be charged.
You can't do that.
We can't
They
do
come in-
that.
they
Yep,
come
you
in and
can't.
help us.
You can't charge the
They
other
help us a
boroughs.
lot more than we have.
The thing with it is, has Emmitsburg, Maryland been, any of the, have all these municipalities been here to help us?
What's it matter?
What's it
A lot
what's
of
it
them, a lot of
matter?
them are state police territory. A lot of them don't have their own
They don't have their own.
freedom. No valley does.
All right, I think it's time to move on to somebody else.
A
Sir,
lot of them don't,
One quick minute,
all right.
or they don't have 24
as
hours. The
a
states are tough.
taxpayer, I don't want to see $1 of my tax money going outside the borough.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, thank you.
Sorry.
All right, please, we have somebody else to talk,
Yep.
please.
Jan Saringer, 417 North. To respond to the gentleman, we pay taxes, we all do. We get mutual aid, and they'll explain, I thought he explained that from other municipalities. Now, what if they felt the same way you do? I don't want my money going to McSherrystown. And they do, they come here.
When you talk mutual aid, I'm talking about the angler and the dog.
Right.
Wait a minute.
See, we're
Wait
getting
a
into
minute.
two different.
You said
Yep.
any officer,
Yeah.
and he said 1,200 and some odd outside the borough.
We're
And that's
separating
what
the
you
canine from
questioned.
mutual
I
aid.
don't
We
want-
gotta get
you
back
said
to the
you don't
canine.
want your tax money going outside the borough.
He
Well,
misspoke,
you know,
that's
we're
all.
getting off topic a lot,
Yeah.
'cause, I mean,
All right, tell me to
he's
get
not
back to the
gonna live that
canine.
much longer. Yeah, and he's not gonna live that much longer.
Okay.
The thing
Yeah.
that you're missing is that you wanna rely 100% on the McSherrystown Borough Police for your protection.
That's right. Now, why don't somebody ask,
All right.
Somebody breaking
That's
into
right.
your
You
house,
work in Adams County.
you don't want somebody to kind of walk in.
No, that's not what he meant. This is,
All right.
yeah, see, we're getting away here.
Excuse me, please.
This is for another
I think,
conversation.
Lefty, I think we need to talk to you personally and go
Yeah.
through this.
Right,
And let you, so that you understand what's
right,
going on.
right. It's
All
getting
right.
away from topic.
Mr. Sneeringer, did you have anything else to say?
Well, I just want, you know, I just came out tonight to support Ozzy.
Okay. Ma'am?
Emily Kramer, 623 Main Street,
For me.
McSherrystown. Sitting here listening to what is some of the debate, some what are facts, some is what fake news. I would love to call for transparency from the board. I'm not sure what figures are correct, what figures are incorrect. I've read a lot on the internet. I've read a lot in the papers. Where are the true facts coming from? We hear facts from Chief Woods. We hear other facts that were done in reports that were given, but reports that not everyone has seen. Is there a bylaw that states when the board will get meeting minutes and reports prior to the meeting?
The minutes from the meeting, we get to read a day or two before the next meeting
Okay.
to go through those. Okay.
And then, what about a report that is given? Does everyone have time to like marinate over that and read it prior? Other than Chief Woods, was he the only one left out?
put it in your box, if you have a box, all councilmen have a box. And all your reports are going in that box. Yeah. Go in and pick it up in your box and read it 2 or 3 days before
So
the,
did Chief Woods do that as well?
sure he does. He has access to it.
So, so what you mentioned earlier, if you want to get at, what we could do, we could have a report done by an outside agency. We have an auditing agency that does our reporting every year, Seeking Company. It's gonna be at a cost,
Well, of
but
course.
they could do an in-depth report of what I covered. They could also do donation auditing. They
Right,
could
I'm
also.
just wondering where the difference in all of the cost difference is coming from. And, I mean, we can't debate it here because this is just for public comment. But I wanna leave you with that, and then this question. Is the reason that Chief Woods, that he has so much overtime because our police department is not fully funded or fully staffed?
Yeah, I'll comment on that one. Does everybody know that we've added another full-time police officer in the last year? Okay, so we are fully staffed here in the last, what, has it been 12 months? But some people say it's not, but we have, instead of 2 part-time.
Is full-time police department.
Yeah,
One other council member who's not here, who's not on council at the time, made the motion. I made the second motion. I seconded that motion to bring in that officer. So we are fully
Yeah.
staffed as a full-time police department at this time. Sorry to cut you off.
yeah, no, that's right. So if you feel we need more police officers, you know what that means, though. The cost is about $100,000 per officer to hire another officer. So More than that even, so I'm a little low on that, sorry. Okay.
Okay. Young lady?
My name is Jasmine Brown. I live at 372 Main Street. My mom was the one that was up there and delivered her speech. I listened to the statistics and the numbers and all that stuff, and me being just 15 years old, I didn't really comprehend all of it.
She's
but-
not a taxpayer in the first place. Are you a taxpayer? That's what she talked about.
Oh, she's a resident.
Yeah.
That's right. No, go ahead. Please continue.
Yeah, good.
That's all right.
It's okay. Oh. It's okay. It's okay.
Yeah, it's all right. Yeah.
Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Quiet, please.
That's out of line. You're
You're
out of line. You're out
Please.
of line for saying.
Let her speak. Quiet, please.
Please, yeah, but
No.
Quiet, please.
We don't say
we don't want to
Please
get
let
this
her
out of
finish.
control. Why don't you step up to the podium, and that way everybody can see here what's. It's easier to see her.
I may not be a taxpayer, but if it wasn't for Ozzy and Chief Woods, I don't think my mom would have been here today. I don't think that getting rid of the K-9 program is the answer, because I think of Ozzy as an officer. I think that if it wasn't for him, some of these things, some of the busts especially, wouldn't have happened. Especially if some of the people had their stuff well hidden that cops couldn't find it, but a dog with a sense of smell 10 times greater than ours could find. I don't think that retiring Ozzy would help this ever-growing drug epidemic in our state in general, especially McSherrystown. My aunt is actually currently in Adams County Prison for drugs, and I guess what I'm trying to say is just these dogs have helped more than people will open their minds to.
I have a comment for you. It's not that we want to do away with a K-9 program and drugs.
misunderstood.
Yeah, I think that's misunderstood. We're all for that. We're thinking that maybe it can be done on a county level. All these boroughs, municipalities, townships, why doesn't Adams County, your county, have it done on a county level? Why should McSherrystown take care of York and Adams County? That's a question that I have and I need answers to.
Well, if you think about it, aren't people supposed to help people? I know this sounds like really weird, and it's probably not going to apply to a police level, but aren't people supposed to help people in need?
Sure.
So wouldn't it make sense for other police departments, I don't know what word you said, I'm sorry, but for other police departments to help other police departments out when they need help?
That's not a problem. We're talking about a financial standpoint. Can McSherrystown Borough
Bear the
bear the burden for the counties in this, K-9 program? And that's all we're looking at right now, the financial burden that it is on little McSherrystown. We haven't raised taxes for a while, and the burden's getting heavier. So we're looking at ways that we can hold the line on taxes. That's what we're here for, okay?
Because the only way that we're going to be able to continue eventually doing all this is we're going to have to raise your taxes, or we're going to have to cut services.
Is there a number for how much of the taxes would have to be raised?
No.
No, that's what
We
we're.
haven't, no, we haven't come to that. No. Okay, I'm going to go on.
0.
This lady over here was next, raising hands. Fred,
Thank
I'll
you
get you
very
next.
much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm Fred Walter, I live at 205 South
Fred-
3rd Street,
Fred-
Germantown.
Fred, she's next.
That's all right.
Let them go, yeah.
Go ahead, Fred. I had asked her, but go ahead.
I pay property tax, school tax, and I was on the board when they got Ozzy. At that time, I think Mike said, Sheriff told him about the dog. He said it wouldn't cost the borough a cent. He would take the dog, keep it at his house, wouldn't cost us anything. He said he had it set up with Commonwealth Vet, they're taking care of the dog, free of charge. He knew places to get food. But all of a sudden that changed. Now we gotta pay him 2.5 hours a week to take care of the dog. And if you take up his salary, his insurance, which is on him and the whole family, it's gonna take him up to $50, $60 an hour. that comes up to about over $7,000 a year, paying him to take care of Ozzy, which wasn't gonna cost us
And
anything.
it didn't cost anything.
Gettysburg. Gettysburg Police Department, Tonawanda, Hanover, New Oxford, which is Eastern Adams, they don't have a dog, why not? Why aren't they helping this borough to take care of that dog?
Because they might have SWAT, they might have divers, they might have another.
All right.
All right, yeah, that's,
Whenever he takes that dog out of town, you see a picture of him kneeling up near the battlefield with the dog and everything. Taking that dog out,
it's a public,
for publicity.
yeah.
As far as I'm concerned,
Hey,
that's stealing services from the borough of McSherrystown.
Stop,
Just
wait a
listen.
minute, please.
want to hear from your council people up there.
Quiet.
They're calling him a puppy. He's a puppy. So just let you know what they're talking up here. Fred, it has cost zero taxpayer money for this program. It's completely funded by donations. Completely.
Mike, can you?
Yes,
can
it
you
is.
Can you
Yeah.
prove
No,
that?
you're not.
Yeah.
Mike,
You would still be paying me 40 hours.
Chief Woods, can you prove that accusation?
Yes, I can. Ask your borough secretary treasurer. She can tell you.
No, I'd like.
That's not doing it.
I'd like. You need to prove that.
Yeah.
That's
According to your
accusations.
secretary, she gave you those numbers.
I don't care about the numbers. I'm talking about you needed to prove what you just said.
Coming out now.
The
All
tax.
right, quiet.
I can't.
Yep. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep. We're not.
Whenever the saves is called out for emergency, one of our officers showed up. I know that helped. They helped me like that one time.
Yep.
I don't know if Tony started that or not. That's a good thing to start, or whoever started it. So, and one time I was getting out of my car at my home. I had a brace on the leg. An officer was sitting there where they sit a lot watching traffic. He wanted to know if he could help me. That's the first time in 59 years any McSherrystown officer that I know of saw somebody that they want to help them to do something like that. So that they're doing a hell of a good job. My problem is spending all this money for the dog. When his time goes to retire, I'm saying that's when he should be retired.
Okay.
Yep. Thank
All
you,
right,
Fred.
thank you for your input. Ma'am, you were next. I'm
Yep.
sorry. Please. You're next.
My name is Holly Stahl. I live at 30 Squire Circle.
Okay, thank you.
And sorry, I do pay taxes. So I have a right to be up here and speak.
Yes, you do.
I appreciate it if you allow me to speak and you be quiet. First of all,
Quiet,
what I'd like
please.
to say is, excuse me, I'm speaking now. What I'd like to say is, you keep bringing up the number of communities that Chief Woods and Ozzy has gone to assist. You're worried about money. You know what I thought the first time I heard that? How proud I was to live in a community that could aid others with a service they either couldn't afford or they didn't have. And I'm very proud of Chief Woods and Ozzy and what they do. What I'm not proud of is this current council and you, Mr. Pasco. I don't know which hunt you're on, but you don't even have your information correct. You can't answer simple yes or no questions.
How do you say? I'm
Yeah.
I'm sorry not to.
I listened and others did too, and once again, I have the floor. I've been in business long enough to know what it is to speak in front of a group and what the rules are, so I'm not some little kid that somebody told they aren't the taxpayer. What I am is wondering, is it really Ozzy, or is it fact that our police officers are paid so low that once they do get training, they don't stay in the borough? Who pay the police officers in this town? And yet, people who sit in the office don't put their life at risk are making probably quite a bit more than what his officers are. What's the matter with you people? But as somebody mentioned, there are elections coming up. And I'll tell you right
Thank you. Okay, ma'am, I think you were next. Go ahead.
Teresa Kirchner, 523 Wood Avenue, McSherrystown.
Okay.
I'd like to add that I also have 2 children attending St. Teresa in Calcutta. This lovely lady already said a lot of what I wanted to say, so kudos to her. You said it great. I wanted to give kudos to the young lady that spoke earlier, but unfortunately she left. I do have 2 other things I wanted to say. Number one, on the issue of being fully staffed, I don't believe Chief Woods has an administrative assistant, which is probably why he spends so much time at work. The other thing is, and I'm sure there are many other of you out here too, I grew up in this town. My father's father's father was from this town. This has always been a very clean, friendly, safe, beautiful town. I'd like to keep it that way. And I know Ozzy has done a lot to help make it even better. And also, this has also been always a town of people, when somebody needs help, we help them. It doesn't matter where they're from or who they are. We reach out and we help them. We're all human. We all need help. And that is what makes me so proud to be from this town. And I'd like to continue to feel that way. And the other thing, you know, in light of the changing times, and God forbid anything ever happens, any of our children, you know, but I hope anybody who wants to get rid of Ozzy, and then y'all can sleep at night, you know? I mean, the safety of our children is of utmost importance.
Okay, thank you.
And if you choose to put self-pride or your pennies over the safety of children and our quality officers like Chief Woods, who really genuinely cares and goes out of his way for this town, then I hope y'all can sleep at night. That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Is there anybody else that has not spoken at other meetings first? I'm sorry, Danielle, but I...
Oh, but I need to address things he said
All right,
directly.
but-
So I understand you can call on them,
Yeah.
but I will speak before you leave because he wants to know who can refute him.
Okay.
I can.
All right. You'll be next. She's hers.
Sarah Murren, 304 Ridge Avenue, McSherrystown. 2 things. I have a 10-year-old daughter. Our block happens, the alley that goes behind our block is one of the darkest alleys in McSherrystown because all our sheds are towards the alley. We have a lot of trees out towards the alley. It's beautiful in the daytime, a little dangerous at night. We've always had kind of an issue. There was a while back where we had like strings of break-ins through our garages, and the police department did wonderful getting my tools back and finding these people. When my daughter was 3, she, prior to Ozzy being here, we used to go on walks, and she'd find heroin needles back there. It's a dark alley. It's the darkest spot in McSherrystown. If you want to get away with something, that's where you got it. And we used to find them everywhere. I can't remember the last time since Ozzy's been here that I found a heroin needle or my daughter has found a heroin needle. Second address is, last meeting, I believe some of the sources that Mr. Costco used was Wikipedia. And as a parent of a child in school and as a former student of our local schools, we're not allowed to use that in term papers. College students, it's not a reliable source. So if our children are banned from using that as a reliable source on their education, and our college students are banned, I'm going to have to say we're going to need new sources of your information. You're going to need to redo that.
Okay.
Any Wikipedia's got to be out. That's user-based. I can go on Wikipedia and edit anything I want to say, whatever I want, however I want to say it. You can't use it as a source. I hope maybe somebody can make a motion to just discard all Wikipedia information from now on.
All right,
Bring
thank you.
back the janitor.
Ma'am, you're next.
Bring back the janitor for $500.
Somebody's coming to move.
Well, not, she's not next. This lady over here is
Oh.
next.
Oh, okay.
Hi, I'm Carol Byers, I live at 206 South Street in McSherrystown.
Former Borough Council.
Since 1993. I'm retired from the Adams County Prison. I've been at this case and the little girl. It's very few people that make it out to the other side when they're in that situation. When I first started at the prison, I had no idea, and I was the records manager, so I had everybody's address. I had no idea how many people listed their address in McSherrystown. And that number has grown. It's very scary out there, and I think it's more scary that most people don't want to believe that this is going on. And it is going on. I wanted to speak for a minute just because I think that Ozzy's presence, just being here, wandering around the schools, wandering around the playground, has been a deterrent, as everyone would say. So whether he makes one call or not, if he's moved these people on, he's paid his debt.
Okay.
I personally feel that it's safer that he's here. I'm really confused about the difference in money. I would say, what I would think to be someone from the police department, someone from the council, to get together, make up a budget just like you do for everything else. It's called Ozzy. You put in your expenses, you put in your donations, you put in whatever you've paid for, and at the end of the year to look at it. But I'm not sure that's gonna happen. It's really, being here tonight has kind of made me sad to see the hostility between the council members and the police department. That should never, ever be. There shouldn't be rolling of the eyes when somebody says. We've got to get back together and we need to support each other. You need to support Ozzy. Ozzy, Chief Woods needs to let you know what's going on, what the budget is, how everything's going. It's not this hard. And I really, really hope everybody takes a look at their attitude a little bit tonight. Maybe the camera's got some of the expressions. I'm in favor of Ozzy. I was on the council for a couple of years. So I'm probably making some people mad at me, but Ozzy needs to be here. His presence in the school, his presence in the community will help to drive people, the criminals out. Criminals don't like dogs. They're afraid of them. So they may not want to do it in this town because they're afraid they're going to see Ozzy. And they don't want that. So they'll go down and and trust me, I'm talking from experience, talking with the criminals. So I hope that the vote is for Ozzy.
We're not voting. I already said in my statement, Ozzy staying.
But there's a lot of contingent opinions. Look at all the mistakes, and I think that you worked out, set a little budget. You want me to come up and help you, I did bookkeeping for 20 years before I was record. So, but anyway, that's all.
All right, thank you, Carol.
Kathy Toad, 404 South Street.
that was devoted to the canine program, and how much of that was other paperwork, administrative things. I think we really kind of need to take a deeper dive into that before we really know what your numbers are that's attributed to the canine program.
Absolutely.
The other thing I guess that kind of confuses me a little bit is we're counting up oil changes and, you know, fuel costs and all that, where Ozzy rides in the vehicle, or whether Ozzy's in that vehicle or not, Chief Woods is in that vehicle, so I don't understand, I guess, why that's segregated out separately, unless it's all just for canine, but I imagine you go to other calls maybe without Ozzy.
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know, so I'm a little confused by that. And just my last thing is, it would be nice if we could get Chief Woods and Mr. Pasco's reports, you know, the public here, that we can actually dissect them and, you know, ask additional questions and stuff. So if that's available for public to do, that would be wonderful.
Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, Danielle?
I have a statement that I'm going to read, because a lot of people want to say things. But you want to mention, Mr. Pasco?
Your name and address,
Dan
please.
Pasco,
I know we know who you are, but
Street, McSherrystown. Mr. Pasco, you know that I've requested your report and your research material, your source material. I've gone through this and may know some of this information even better than you do. So I'd be more than happy to answer any question you have about what Chief, you know, where you're saying the reports are wrong, he's saying reports are wrong and you're saying what's wrong. I can go into any detail that you want to bring me to one of your facts and tell you where it's not quite right. And some of that I can't answer because I didn't get all the information that I asked you for. So I submitted a new right to know to Luann to finish that. But I'm going to read my statement first. So if you agree with me or disagree with me, please wait till I'm finished. This council does not understand that a transaction that results in a capital gain should not be listed as a reimbursable expense, or worse yet, you know, and you said nothing when the $3,750 trade-in on a new vehicle paid for by donations was listed on a report claiming that it's a reimbursable expense. To that point, you said tonight, well, we own that vehicle, but you also own the vehicle that was obtained. This council did not do the work to know that the borough approved the $825.06 training expense, which was paid out of the police budget through schooling and seminars, but was actually paid back when donations came in to cover it. Or worse yet, you did know this and you said nothing when it was claimed to be an expense that should be reimbursed to the borough.
Oh, wait, can I stop? Just
Please,
one second.
Yeah, you got to address each issue. Yeah, let him address the issue one by
Take
one.
notes and try to, how can I even explain? You keep going down.
I will go back to any point that you would
Yeah,
like,
but how am I supposed to remember
Yeah.
everything you're saying?
Right.
That's fine. Go ahead. Go
He's
ahead.
right.
not sure.
Pat, tell him. He has the
said
right to
about-
rebuke everything
Go
said.
question. Go ahead.
Yeah.
So you just back up just your last point.
The 2506.
Yeah, it was approved by council on 9/25. It was in the meeting minutes. I
Yes,
gave you
it
those
was
meeting
approved,
minutes.
But when the money came in through the donations, it was paid back to the borough. I verified that by running all the income and all the expenses, and I verified it with your treasurer. She knows it was paid back. You should have access to that report. There's no reason you shouldn't have gone to her before you reported it as an expense and verified and said, hey, Luann,
Okay.
was this ever paid back?
Okay, I will verify that. If it's something I need to check on, I will. Thank you. Thank you for that.
This council seems to forget that our taxes, which are among the highest in Adams County, cover operational expenses like salaries and maintenance. And are asking that the K-9 program operational costs, which are part of doing regular police business, also be paid out of donations. Keeping in mind that less than 6%, it's actually 5.74 to the period of the deployment record that Mr. Pasco provided me, that 6% of the total out-of-borough mutual aid and assistive deployments from 1/28/14 to 6/28/18 are attributed to K-9 deployments. Or worse yet, maybe you didn't want to know, but you said nothing. This council claims the K-9 program interferes with borough business but offers no real evidence that we would not have had to assisted with those calls even if we did not have Ozzy, due to our mutual aid agreements or the need for officer assistance.
Or maybe you do understand this, but just don't care, so you've said nothing. This council is claiming that the maintenance and salary expenses attributed as K-9 program are owed to the borough, which I cannot find a situation where a nonprofit or donations paid for K-9 operational expenses in liquid communities such as ours. We ended 2017 with a surplus balance of $804,357.80. Or worse yet,
No, just
your
hold on one
mayor
sec. Just hold on one sec.
justifiable to double dip asking taxes to go to operational costs and then asking donations made to cover tangible expenses for the K-9 program to reimburse those operational expenses to the borough. This council feels taking funds donated to the K-9 program is justified even after regular increases in salary have been approved by this council. The mayor has for the first time in his service been required to take a salary by this council. The decision to fight a contract resulting in arbitration and legal fees which could exceed the difference asked for in the contract was made by this council. Or worse yet, you disagree with these actions and you said nothing. I asked for the documentation this council used to come to their conclusions and support their decisions. And what this council provided me does not support this council's position. This council has cherry-picked random pieces of information and misrepresented facts. This council is presenting information that is wrong as fact, or worse yet, this council is willing to allow others to do so and say nothing. I'm not alone in my concerns regarding this council's actions, violating the Sunshine Act by conducting official business outside a council meeting.
That was never done.
I have the email, so before you say that was never done, I can pull it out, I have it with me. Not properly disclosing the details of executive or closed sessions and making questionable financial decisions. This council has acted with malice and disregard for this community and towards our police department. This needs to stop now. If this council continues to persist in this behavior, this council is exposing our borough to not only further embarrassment due to your actions and poor behavior, but possible actionable litigation. Any fact.
Hey, you went through them, so just go ahead.
Go
You're
through
good.
your fun fact and ask me what isn't right. Pick one, anyone.
When did anyone say that they were going to ask for reimbursement back?
You, and I have the fun fact sheet with you. It
But I
says
never said, did I ever say that? When did I ever say that?
You have it on your paper as saying.
We had not voted on anything.
But every council member saw that paper and no one questioned you. Not
But
one
no
person
one, we didn't even bring it up. So what, I don't know what why are you on a crusade here? I don't understand.
You're crusade here because you are distorting information to suit your own purposes and smirking while you're doing it. And it's disrespectful and there's absolutely no reason for this. First of all, you need to stop calling it a cost-benefit analysis, because if you truly think the report that you did was a cost-benefit analysis, you have no business handling anything with our finances. A cost-benefit analysis is a comprehensive, in-depth report that goes through stages. It actually analyzes benefits, which you did not. And it doesn't just cherry-pick random things to target and look at. You have things listed on your report with question marks that if you had taken even a moment to go to Luann and ask, you would know that those were covered by donations. You say that she hasn't provided you with information. He provided you with everything you asked for. You asked for 3 things in your report, and he provided them. And I know, because I have the email. He even offered, if you gave him more time, to do a fully comprehensive report, but that wasn't necessary.
Yeah, but where did that report ever come through? He had to take vacation time or cancel his family vacation for that.
He
Yeah.
answered every question in case
Yeah, but I want
you
to know.
asked for.
I want to know. We had Pat. You asked him. So you have to ask Chief Woods to provide the information within 1 week, so we had time to go over it. And then the email back to you and the rest of council as well as the mayor was, I need time to do a full comprehensive report. We've never received a full comprehensive report, but the Gettysburg Times, excuse me, I'm talking. The Gettysburg
The
Gettysburg Times reported that the chief had to give up his vacation, his family vacation, to give us a full comprehensive report, which we have not received to this day.
Because you didn't.
No, it was no
acknowledge
because.
this, or say, yes, I'll give you the time. And
Pat,
if
you
you're gonna
replied back. You said go.
I asked for the three things.
Correct.
That's all you
Okay.
asked for.
Yes, and I asked for them by the 27th of June, okay? We did not get them. He said he wanted to do another report. I then said, well, all we really want right now are those answers to those questions.
And did you come back and request any additional information when you said, and first of all, I'd like to point out that it is completely and totally inappropriate that you emailed him between council meetings to go into this as an investigation. That's doing council business outside of a council meeting. If you want to do an exploratory or look into a program, you do it properly, you bring it up in a meeting, you outline parameters.
That was
you
a
don't
request.
decide to do it in between meetings.
You're allowed to request data. You're allowed to ask for a data request.
You made the decision to look into a program. It's a public service program, and it's required that that be discussed in council meetings. I know, I asked.
You asked who?
State Representative Dan Mao.
Okay.
Your resources that you used, that you gave me for your research, had you read the entire page of anything you gave me, you would have seen that not only do they contradict you completely and totally.
Listen, you can speak to all this and without. Yeah, this is just getting out of hand. It is. It really is. It really is.
You want to think that you have this benign, we just need to look into the program. If that was the case, you should have brought it up back in June at the meeting and said, hey, you know what, maybe we should look at this program. And I've done the extra steps, and I've gone through, and I've talked to other police departments, and I've talked to other nonprofits and donation forms. Not one program, not one, covers operational expenses. They do not cover oil changes and tire wear and gas mileage, because that's considered a cost of doing police business. And that is
It's a
line
cost
item
directly
of-
related to a canine program. If transporting, when you have a canine transported to and from the chief's house, that is an expense that comes out of all of our tax dollars. Yes, exactly. It's exactly what I said.
Quiet, please. Quiet, please.
The borough manager's vehicle stays here every day. I think he used it one time in, I don't know, probably 10 or 15 years. He doesn't have that. That's a good point to bring up. And that was a Facebook point. That was a misnomer on Facebook. So that one you can't bring up.
All right.
Okay, quiet, please.
You're telling me he's activity from 2013 till now.
Say it again. I didn't hear it. I'm
You're telling
sorry.
me that there are activity and mileage logs from 2013 to now that can show when he drove it, where he drove it.
When who? He?
Mr.
The
it's
chief
borough
or?
manager. The borough manager. You have activity logs that show when he drove it, where he drove it, how much he drove it, and what business he was attending to while he drove it.
I'm sure there is. I don't have them personally on me yet. So that you can look into that. But he doesn't take it home every night. I can guarantee that. Why are you going after the? I mean, this is like a witch hunt.
Quiet, please.
This is just out of control.
All right.
Yeah, there's too many.
Right now.
It's like the last.
Please. All right. We're getting beyond the subject. It is not relevant anymore. The program is going to continue, and we are not making any motions or anything with regards to the program tonight. So I have said something. We're not. No, we're not. We're not making. What? Shh. We are not making any motions at all with regards. Pardon me? We already said we're keeping the dog.
Yeah, there's no.
They don't need a motion.
You don't need a motion.
Vote on what?
Yeah, vote on what? To keep it. We already are
We're
keeping
not
it.
making any,
He's here. He didn't.
No.
Wait a minute, Mr.
Let the
Campbell?
solicitor talk to us
You
about
don't
this.
need a motion to keep something that you already have.
Right.
All that was, occurred last meeting was investigations into the possibility, the cost, whether or not it should be terminated. Apparently, they made a decision here, they're keeping things as they are, so you don't need another motion to keep things as they are.
No, I'm sorry.
Didn't they table it last meeting saying they were tabling the vote on it?
You cannot tell me.
Well, but
We're
they're
not
not,
discontinuing
she just
anything.
made the statement, they're not doing anything, they're keeping it as is.
No, you
not-
all are a
Wait,
body
listen.
that must vote if you're gonna keep or discard something.
No.
You just
Mr.
said a decision's been made
no,
after this evaluation. No, that's the law.
No,
That's the vote.
no. There
Excuse me.
There was discussion, ma'am.
excuse me.
There's never been a motion to terminate the K-9 program. So there doesn't need to be a motion to keep a K-9 program that already exists.
No.
They're just discussing the program.
It's all discussion.
There's no motion to, and I think it's perfectly clear, I mean, unless I'm not understanding that they're gonna keep it as is. So in my opinion, there's no motion needed.
Got a fella there standing at the podium.
All right, we're gonna go on with our meeting. We're up to new business.
There's a fella there when you talk.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Make a motion.
George Stahl, I live at 212 Stonebank Street. My point with this K-9 is gonna be, let me go into myself. I was a volunteer firefighter for 10 years. I was with New Oxford Fire Company for 5 years. And the stories I heard out of New Oxford was they were one of the first fire companies to get a heavy rescue. This is just an analogy. They were the first ones in the county to have a heavy rescue. That thing went everywhere. York Springs, went to Littlestown, Benderville, Yarmouth. Now everybody's got one. But then, did they complain about them sending a volunteer, it was all donations, going around to everybody's town, saving lives? It's public service. Why are we arguing over where the dog goes? I don't get it.
Okay.
I got 2 questions too. One's with Chief Woods. Chief Woods, what was the total donation you got? Total, what you sold? And a lot of this stuff, we as taxpayers should have been paying for.
$42,245.
The total of everything you had total.
Information.
That's for K-9 or other donations? Oh.
Even officers, because I don't know why we couldn't even purchase guns or vests for these guys.
The numbers I read you off earlier, that's a total of $95,442.86.
Pasco, your numbers, for what it costs for just the K-9.
What,
Well, I
I-
want your
what I
numbers
gave-
for what the K-9's costing us.
well, it was 43,000.
Okay, so that right there.
But
just proved it.
when does
That's
that
donation.
Yeah, when does that donation amount start? What is that? What's the time period for that?
Hold
I'm
on,
not sure.
okay. I don't even care about that. How many times have you went out and solicited for a donation, any of the council members? Any? Raise your hand if you did. None of you. So none of you are saving us money, you're wasting us money. And he's freaking going out and getting money for it.
Let me interject on that one.
Yeah.
I'm a volunteer also. I'm on the dive team with Penn Township. Last night, I put 4 hours in over at Hanover, at the Target parking lot.
Volunteer your time.
Volunteer my time. When I come in,
Let him finish.
You have a very, very, very good point here. Volunteerism. Get involved in the community. Help out Company 29, saves.
Other than last month.
Yep, and I applaud all you people for coming out here and wanting to voice an opinion and sharing that you care. But being here and saying that you care is only a portion of what really needs to be done here. Everybody needs to get together and put some time in with community projects, you know? We've got a project going on down at the walking track right now. There's a dog park that's in the process of being built. Say what?
How much it costs?
It would cost a lot less if there were volunteers to help out, which would help the budget for McSherrystown Borough.
I'm sorry, I was just skeptical about, getting that and then talking about financial.
How about painting the curbs?
That's right. We love
We
that.
need somebody to volunteer to paint our curbs, because there was a fellow that was knocking on doors sometime this week, soliciting signatures. You were talking to Paul, one of my tenants, and you told that guy that rents from me.
No.
Shut up a minute. You told that guy that we spent $9,000 to paint those curbs.
Have you?
We haven't done anything with the curbs. Rob was talking during council that he was going to talk to the Boy Scouts and see if they would be interested in doing that as a community
I
project.
brought that up in budget time, and I was told we couldn't do that. I was told Scott said we couldn't. I brought up the loan. I brought up the Boy Scouts. I brought up the loan. People that need. I brought it all up in budget time, and I was told we had to budget $9,000 for it. I brought up the Boy Scouts. I actually talked to Mr. DePorter about it, and then I was told no, we couldn't do it.
When were you
We couldn't do it at budget time when I brought it up. I brought up about talking to the Boy Scouts. I brought up about talking to the loan about their service hours up there. And I was told no, they're not.
Look
18,
into it again.
We used to have
Let's
people
look
from
into
LIU
it
do it.
Yeah, they
Right.
had
But
dropped
now,
the price.
I brought up the Boy Scouts, I brought up the other thing during budget time, and I was told no.
Okay, let's look into it again.
All right, we need to go on and finish our business and finish our meeting. I appreciate everybody that's come tonight. I hope you. Yeah. I told you that. I'm sorry, were you not finished? Sir?
Put time in with the community.
Okay.
I'm sorry, I thought you were. Okay. Would you like to finish? I thought you had finished, I'm sorry.
Got a motion, pay the bills, Pat.
Pardon me?
You need a motion to pay the bills.
Yes. I did say I'm sorry. I thought he was finished.
I'm sorry. It was not. It.
You want us to volunteer to go down to the dog park and do something? How about you all do something first? Considering you didn't even get no donations for nothing. He did. He can sit back and watch. He even works with my son doing football. How much time do you volunteer for anything public service?
I do. Yeah.
That's for another meeting.
Okay, we're going to move on to the new business. We need an approval to pay the listed expenditures. May I have a motion to pay the bills?
So moved.
Okay, I have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second
Second? All in favor?
that.
All right. Any opposed? Motion carries.
Now we got the resolution.
And then we need the resolution. Blue Ann probably has that. We have a resolution 2018-13, the opposition to H. Bill 291, statewide EIT collection.
She's asking how much she's paying.
Do you have the originals?
It's on the report.
Do you have the original?
Letter.
Original what?
We have to sign the resolution.
Are you going to read this?
You don't have to.
No. Oh, on there.
Itemized purchase report is right here. I had to dig it out of my papers.
That's Scott's. You were talking about the other. The
Pardon me?
We usually have extras on the table, right?
No, not enough.
None of that.
What, this is the,
No, not Scott's.
Oh.
The one that pay all the funds. This one, that we paid. the expenditures. Yeah, it's hard to concentrate. It's too much. Like I said, we ought to have a special meeting with this, and that way it can function.
Luann, do you want to read the resolution? Let's do this while I'm looking at this other paperwork.
I have a question for Dan Colgan, 355 Ridge Avenue, McSherrystown. First of all, I'd like to say that Mr. Von Sauce, that was the most obnoxious thing I've ever seen in my life in a public meeting. The way you talked to this gentleman, took his time to come out here. Secondly, I would like to ask a question. No one can simply tell me where I can go and find public record of the things that you take action on. Where can I go as a public person, as a private citizen, to find what you take action on?
At the Borough building. You can go to the Borough
I have to come to
building.
the Borough building. You don't publicize any of that.
No, you can go to the
Would
Borough
you
building.
suggest, would you entertain that idea, and would you put that to a motion?
To what?
To have everything you do, decision-making, budgets, the expenses that you pay, bills, public, we
It's in our-
can look at them in the convenience of our own homes.
It's in our minutes.
Do you make them public?
Yes, when you pick them up tonight.
You have to come to the borough office and pick it up.
Yeah.
Well,
Again, I'm asking you, would you entertain the idea, since this is 2018, right? Everything else in the world is on the internet. Why are your minutes, why are your actions not public on the internet?
There's no requirement to have to do that.
Okay, Pat.
Well, we'll discuss that later.
Let's do this
okay.
What were the bills for again?
I don't have a total.
Can you read an individual bills if you have a total?
All the checks that Luann wrote, I guess all the checks that Luann wrote for the month.
Total.
That's Scott, yeah, the checks that
the
Luann
amount,
wrote
the
for
total amount.
the month. It's on the
Actually,
back.
for the total amount, you can just mention the total amount of bill.
His job,
His job.
probably. Yeah.
So why is he on borough council if he can't do his responsibility? Mr. Clinton, you have the chair.
Just read the total of the bills that the motion was to pay.
These here?
You typically,
No,
what the
that's
total,
Scott's,
the
that's
total,
Scott's.
total of bill. Total bills amounting to total of X
I do
dollars.
believe the question was.
Here's
to
this,
understand what
the bills, see, there's, just read
Well,
one or
it's a
two, say,
record.
we
You
paid,
can get the
here's
They were asking if
the,
it could be read. It needs to be official.
Oh, my God, no.
this is,
I don't have
this-
any
this-
municipality
how long
that
do you want to
does
stay
that.
here? Yeah, this is all the records, there's the record.
Yes, I do. I have the bills here.
gonna say.
I run 3 QuickBook reports
Yep.
for every meeting.
Yep.
The first is the balance sheet. It goes through the general fund, goes through the payroll fund, it goes through highway checking, highway fund money market, recreation fund, the capital fund reserves, and the general fund sewer upgrade. I give a profit and loss for the month, between last meeting to this one. And I also give a budget versus actual report. So,
And I will ask again, and then I'm gonna shut up and sit down. I would like to see a motion put on from somebody, doesn't matter who, that you put those on the internet so the kids can see.
Does that include the wages for everybody too? I mean, each weekly wages? Yeah, I mean, that's all on the budget too, so.
But that is all part of the problem.
It is, that's right. You
Bills are being submitted for payment.
Exactly.
I believe that's what he's asking.
You don't have to do it.
Yep.
Resolution.
Yeah, we need, this is something we'll have to bring up, because we might need a resolution in order to be able to do that. So we would need to check into doing that. So, right now, we're gonna talk about the resolution. Pardon me?
Yeah, hustlers and whatever else.
All right, please, we are continuing with our meeting. Public participation is over. It probably is.
How much is that bill? That money could have went towards canine program.
Luann, do you want to read the resolution, or do we want to?
everyone has a copy of it, and what it is I'll read it.
Or
It's
I move
resolution,
that we pass the
Quiet, quiet.
resolution
Now, wait a minute.
2018-13.
Luann is reading it right now, please.
it's resolution number 2018-13. A resolution of the Borough of McSherrystown, Adams County, Pennsylvania, that whereas the House of Representatives of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania has passed House Resolution 291 of 2018, calling for the Department of Revenue to study the feasibility of statewide earned income tax collection. And whereas in accordance with Act 32 of 2008, in 2012, the Tax Collection Committee of Adams and York Counties established the York Adams Tax Bureau as a joint tax collection bureau for the Adams and York County collection districts. And whereas over the past 6 years, the Council of the Borough of McSherrystown have had a positive experience with the York Adams Tax Bureau, which has consistently increased collection on both current and delinquent earned income tax due to the Borough of McSherrystown, has increased the efficiency of collection and receipt of tax revenue, and has decreased the cost of collection at the same time. And whereas the Council of the Borough of McSherrystown does not believe that the Commonwealth can provide the same level of service to its residents and businesses or match the current and delinquent earned income tax collection provided by the York Adams Tax Bureau. And now therefore be it hereby resolved by the Council of the Borough of McSherrystown, Adams County, Pennsylvania, hereby desires to express its support of maintaining the collection of earned income tax at the county level as authorized by Act 32, and is hereby further resolved that Council of the Borough of McSherrystown is opposed to the statewide earned income tax collection by the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, encourages its legislators to oppose any legislation proposed to authorize statewide collection of earned income tax, and that a copy of this resolution be sent to the office of each of the legislators serving the residents of McSherrystown. Duly resolved and adopted this, and then it would get the signatures of the president, mayor, and secretary.
Okay, now, anybody have any questions about it up here in the council?
I do. I don't understand the state getting involved in this. What's the cost to the Adams and York taxpayers on that?
Well, Rob, to answer the
Yeah.
question,
Yeah.
it was I believe a state representative, elected official that believed that instead of having the about a dozen tax collectors that we have now, instead of them doing it, turn it over to the IRS and having them collect it. This resolution is to say Act 32 has really brought this project, this income together where they are doing a wonderful job of collecting the earned income.
Yeah.
And
No,
they just
they are
believe
doing a
that
wonderful job.
they can do a
Yeah.
lot better job than if they turn it over to the state.
Right.
The IRS is not involved in that, strictly state. The IRS has nothing to do with earned income.
No, state.
Yeah, it's a
It's a
state. It
state.
says Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, and that's
It's
what
the
I was
Commonwealth
wondering
of
the
Pennsylvania.
cost.
All
Yeah.
right.
Okay.
All right, so what it's stating is that we don't want them to get involved in
Right,
the.
I understand.
No, you don't want
Wanna
the,
opt into that.
Yeah, we don't
Right.
want,
you don't want the state to
Yeah,
Make sure you
do it
understand,
all.
it's not the IRS, not federal.
it's the,
It's at the state level,
Yeah.
you're doing the study. You're certain-
I do know there was an email request to fill out a survey if we chose.
Right.
It went to an IRS department.
County called last meeting from the Sherrystown, representing Sherrystown.
the cost.
I'm sorry.
Didn't hear you.
At the call. The Adams
Cogs.
County called me
Oh, yes.
about once a month. Was anyone there representing the Sherrystown?
Oh, that was
Not this last one.
Yeah.
No?
Give it to-
You guys really need to come to that call meeting, because all this was talked about. Then you would know what was going on. You can bring that information back. I work for Senator Alloway, okay? And I'm not sure, I wanted to ask also, is there a resolution that no one outside of Sherrystown can't talk? Is there a resolution for that? 'Cause you
No,
guys
that's
wouldn't
just-
let anyone
but-
talk about Ozzy.
That's,
State law.
this,
That's
it's our lawyers.
Open meeting, sunshine.
Okay, but is there a resolution?
No, you don't
There
need
has to be a
a
resolution.
resolution to limit minutes.
Okay, but to have someone outside of Sherrystown not be able to talk, is there a resolution for that?
No,
Why?
because it's part of the state right, it's part of the Sunshine Act. It is the law.
You cannot talk.
But this is a
What?
public meeting. you have to have a resolution if you don't want people outside talking, right?
I am not aware that you do. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. But
All right, we're-
that's what the Sunshine Law said. And why is it of concern to people outside of McSherrystown what they do here? It's
All right.
tax
All right,
I'm
enough.
not going to get into the arguments that have been going back and forth.
All right, we're looking at this
Yep.
resolution.
Yep.
Do I have a motion now?
So moved.
All right, do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? All right, motion carries on that. Is there any other new business from council? All right, then I'll accept a motion to adjourn the meeting.
Make a motion to adjourn.
Okay, I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Meeting adjourned.